Find your rhythm at Quintet.
It's 2:17 a.m. on the 110.
In February 2024, a news helicopter started following a blacked-out C7 Corvette in West LA. It began with a routine traffic stop and ended with the driver turning off his headlights and flying along the highway like a ghost. The police tried to chase him, but their ground units didn't stand a chance. All the choppers could do was watch on and give us this legendary footage. This is the story of that Z51, the man who needed an entire LAPD task force to stop him. And in the end, even that wasn't enough.
Things were downtown. Wessex, the vehicle. He may have gone.
But where did all this begin? In August 2023, an Instagram account by the name That Z51 made its first post, simply captioned, "Trying Instagram because TikTok keeps taking my videos down." And it's no surprise he was getting flagged. You see, almost every other post featured reckless driving, dangerous stunts, and lots of taunting the cops. In his videos, he'd drive right by police without plates, almost encouraging them to chase him. And when they did, before long, the followers began pouring in. Likes, comments, support, all for this crazy driver with his modified Corvette. That Z51 built his name on running from the police. But any street racer will tell you, the biggest thrill is when you nearly get caught. And soon enough came his closest call of all. The February 2024 chase began in familiar circumstances. Driving without any plates, that Z51 was flashed down by an unimpressed police car. And he didn't hang around. Running from the cops was no biggie. He'd done this 100 times before, but tonight was different. As he looked up, his heart dropped. First he saw the police chopper, then the television crews. On the ground, he knew he could win, but the helicopters didn't play by street rules. At first, he panicked, making mistakes he usually never would.
Oh, and we jumped the gore point onto...
But then came the 5-minute stretch that turned him into a legend. Here's how it all went down. The first big decision came on West 22nd Street, just off Santa Monica Highway. If he'd carried on along the freeway, he would have arrived in West LA. There, he would have been faced with large, open roads, perfect for losing cop cars, but terrible for what he had in mind. But East LA, well, this was perfect. The high-rises there would provide the perfect cover for what he needed, to get out of view of the choppers. To think this quickly, while weaving in and out of traffic at over 170 miles per hour is madness. But somehow, that Z51 stayed calm. He took the exit and made his way eastward. As he arrived in downtown LA, no one knew he was about to pull off one of the greatest moves in getaway history.
Sections he was favoring north and southbound roads, and now we're kind of going on these east and westbound roads. So as we move Air 7 HD a little bit to the west, hopefully we'll be able to see him continue down.
Did you miss it? Here's another station trying to keep up with him.
Oh wait, he might have turned around.
We saw speeds as fast as 160 miles an hour, and he really has slowed down a lot by...
As one commenter put it, that little move juked like 3 other helicopters. By now, only Fox's helicopter was still on him. But that's...
Slow down a...
7 HD a little bit to the west. Hopefully we'll be able to see him continue down.
Did you...
North and southbound roads, and now we're kind of going on these...
That's not him though. It's a cop car.
He was...
Where is he?
LA.
That's my old bill. $156. My new one, $38 a month. Or if I'm paying full coverage, $59 a month.
It's legit. Like, it's not... I'm not like...
No one knew he was about to pull off one of the greatest moves in getaway history.
Sections he was favoring north and southbound roads.
That's not
and
him.
now
That's
we're kind of
a
going
cop.
on these east and westbound roads.
Unless that
so
is him.
We move Air 7 HD a little bit to the west. Hopefully we'll be able to see him continue down.
Did you miss it? Here's another station trying to keep up with him.
Oh wait, he might have turned around.
We saw speeds as fast as 160 miles an hour, and he really has slowed down a lot by...
As one commenter put it, that little move juked like 3 other helicopters. By now, only Fox's helicopter was still on him. But that Z51 knew exactly where he was going. Just like that, he had shaken off the entire LAPD and become a legend in the span of 5 minutes. His popularity skyrocketed, reaching 600,000 followers and more than 50 million views across platforms. There was no denying it, he was one of the most famous underground drivers in the world, and he let the LAPD know it. But how did he pull off this impossible escape? The C7 he was driving is quick on its own, sure, but it can't hit the speeds we witnessed in that footage. That's because it wasn't just any C7. You see, the name that Z51 isn't random. It's what they call the modification package for the C7 Stingray, a package that turns it into a beast. Better brakes, stiffer suspension, higher top speed. This package allows the C7 to nearly match the Z06, but without the supercharger. But you didn't think that Z51 would stop there, right? His version was a monster, powered by a 6.2-liter V8 with a custom camshaft and E85 fuel system. His car produced over 600 horsepower and went from 0 to 60 in well under 4 seconds. And it needed every ounce of its power to get away like it did. But with the popularity the chase had brought him, a new problem emerged.
Damn, check it, y'all imagine watching this shit live? Check it, y'all imagine watching this shit live, gang?
With most racers, the
Oh my god, I would have a popcorn, and I would just be fucking like, what the fuck is going on?
Trouble was about to come his way.
Holy shit!
The trouble started as soon as that Z51 posted his first YouTube video. The video showed him at a small underground meet in San Diego. No Instagram, no flyers, just word of mouth. In fairness to him, that Z51 had been careful. He'd blurred faces, blocked out street signs, but in the end, none of it would be enough. You see, we have to give the cops some credit. On the morning he posted his very first video, the police were ready to pounce. Within hours, they had analyzed the video, and instead of beginning a chase they knew they would lose, they were now lying in wait instead. And that Z51 was about to walk right into their trap. What you're about to hear is an unprecedented account of what went down that night. It started quite simply. The event was packed with swarms of people who had seen that Z51's video. When he and his cameraman rolled up, they immediately knew something was off. Cops were everywhere. Marked cars, unmarked ones, even helicopters circling the area hours before the meet. He tried to stay low-key, only leaving his car to take pictures with his fans. But in the end, even a helmet couldn't hide his identity. The Z51 had been on edge the entire event, so as soon as it ended, he got some footage of the other cars leaving, then made to exit himself. But then he saw it, the cop car sitting there, just watching him. That Z51 froze. He didn't have plates on his car, and the cop had definitely recognized him. He and his cameraman sat in silence. A minute passed. Both him and the cop car were locked in a standoff. Who would move first? The cop broke the silence. His car crept forward, but shockingly, it drove off. Reese was all part of their plan. As soon as that Z51 hit the highway, it was chaos. Cops everywhere, racers being pulled over, cars getting towed, people being arrested on the hard shoulder. The cops had set the trap, and now they were closing it. That Z51 tried to blend in, pushing ahead slowly and hoping to meet up with the other drivers. With cop cars all around him, he made it through. But then the real trouble began. He lined up against a Mustang, and after a countdown, they took off. That Z51 shot off the mark, hitting 60 miles per hour in 4 seconds flat, then 100, then 120. The needle kept going, and then at 140, he passed a marked Explorer. This wasn't new to him, so he killed the lights and gunned it, but still, he couldn't shake the feeling that had stayed with him all night. Something felt off. Moments later, his fears were realized. Headlights appeared behind him, flashing red and blue. He gunned it. He was headed south, 4 exits from the Mexico border. He knew he had to get off the highway, so he tried an exit. Blocked. Then another, also blocked, with spike strips this time. He dodged them and stayed on the highway. As he did so, a grim realization started to dawn on him. This wasn't just some random chase. They knew exactly who he was and had planned for it. You see, all the time that Z51 had taunted the police, they'd been preparing for his arrest. He didn't know it at the time, but an entire task force had been set up, dedicated to stopping him. And now the cops were all set to execute a carefully constructed catch. But Not if that Z51 had anything to say about it. Flying down the highway at 170 miles per hour, he saw the plan as it began to unfold. A cop car was up ahead, performing a traffic brake. Right before his eyes, he saw the cars converging, the space narrowing, cutting him off. His foot hovered above the brake. He'd have to slow down. The game was surely up. And
Gang, we don't get like they didn't record this though. They didn't record it though. Like we just get to watch. Like we're not watching it, gang. We just were like nobody. Where's the footage at, mud? Where's the shit at?
he saw it. A gap to the cop car's left. He locked on, his eyes paving a path before him, cars pulling across as the gap grew ever narrower. His chances were slim, but the alternative was getting caught, and that wasn't on the agenda. He slammed the accelerator 100 meters now from the gap. 50, 10. He closed his eyes and braced for it. But it never came. He'd made it through with less than a car's width to spare, and he was in the clear. The ground units had no chance of keeping up with him now. But then his mind flashed back to the February chase. It wasn't the cars he had to worry about. It was the helicopters. 2 of them, circling directly above him, completely blacked out and using heat vision. He'd escaped them before during his LA run. Why couldn't he do it again? As he looked around, he knew exactly why. In downtown LA, the buildings had been massive and there was cover everywhere. San Diego was different. Near the border, there's nothing at all to hide under. His hope began to waver. In his mounting desperation, one final idea came to him. If he couldn't hide from the helicopters, maybe he could lose them another way. The only option was to go where they weren't allowed to fly, the airport. That Z51 streaked towards downtown San Diego, leading the police on a nearly 50-mile pursuit. Downtown, by the airport, was his last shot, but the police already knew it. That Z51 was eventually arrested in a loading dock under an overhang somewhere in downtown San Diego. The routes to the airport had all been blocked. The task force had prepared for everything. As he sat in the loading dock and saw the blue lights flashing behind him, his cameraman turned to him and said, "Do we run again?" "There's nowhere to go," said that Z51. They won this time. The police weren't humble in their victory. They made a post celebrating the catch where they taunted that Z51 just like he'd done to them.
The driver of this Z51 Corvette attempted to evade our partners at CHP Border Division in San Diego PD. The driver reached speeds of 140 miles per hour and fled without their lights activated. The driver was ultimately... But it's not...
On September 17th, 2024,